Alright guys, so before we even get into the video, I do want to say if you are new to the channel, be sure to click that subscribe button. It's free. I'm trying to get to 2K subscribers, so I would greatly appreciate you guys helping me out. If you aren't new, same thing. Just be sure to like the video. I hope you guys enjoy. It took a little bit time to make this list because I was trying to factor in other, all the opinions that I hear around the internet and the global Grand Cross community. But hopefully you guys do enjoy. I'm not going to take up any more of your time. And with that said, hopefully you enjoy the video. Alright, so we're going to go over the top 10 most used characters on global PvP, or just the top 10, I guess you could say, best characters to use in global PvP right now. So obviously on the screen you can see Green Merlin, right? So Green Merlin's number 10 because she's not really like the best unit to use on PvP, but she is one of the best subs to use on PvP, and that's because of her passive. Her passive, you guys already know, allows her to get one orb in your ult gauge at the start of battle. Combine that with the food that allows you to have an extra orb in your ult gauge. You have 2 off rip. If you go second, you basically have 3. That's why ult rush is very, very dominant. It sucks, but it is what it is. Having to fight someone with 3 orbs is very, very difficult because they just literally can spam ult. It's insane, right? But yeah, so she's number 10. Again, her utility, her removal of ult gauge is good, her barrier is good, and her ultimate is alright. But literally no one uses her for any of this except her passive. I mean, if you kill, I don't know, one enemy and she comes out, she can be useful because she has a barrier, but I mean, she's just not like the craziest unit, right? But again, her passive, top tier, very top tier, right? All right, so let's go ahead and let's move on to number 9. Number 9 is Blue King. Now, it's actually really insane. I never thought he'd be lower than like 5, but he is actually really low on this list, and that's because people don't actually run Blue King anymore like that. I don't know why. I guess you could call it like he's just, aging. I mean, he's still aging gracefully. Not like he's bad or anything. He's aging very well. It's just his moves, his Purify, his Petrify are good as well. I guess you could say this is sort of becoming like, I don't want to say obsolete. I don't think that's the right word, but it's still very, very powerful, right? And then his Petrify is good as well. I guess there's just better units you can use in place of him because legit, I don't really see a lot of people running him anymore like I did before in the past. It's just, I don't know, people have better units now, you know what I mean? So he's still very, very good. He's still one of the 10 best units on Global Grand Cross PvP. So that's a testament to his his kit. His kit is very, very good, especially because he has some pretty good stats too, considering this is without equipment. You know what I mean? His stats aren't bad. He is a king unit as well, so his cosmetics are very, very good because most of them are UR gear cosmetics. So his CC is high naturally. So just good in all, and his ultimate is a shatter card. So very, very good. It's just, I don't know, people just don't run him as much as they did before. I guess you could just call it aging, right? I mean, again, like I said before, he's still aging gracefully. It's just a lot of people really don't run him, or maybe there's just better counters to him nowadays. So yeah, let's go ahead and let's get to number 8. So number 8 is another king, and this one is actually fairly new, a week old, right? He's good. I think he is a mid character, but he's still a festival unit. So him being a mid festival unit is still better than a majority of the units in the game. Keep that in mind. I just think he's, in my opinion, I think he's just mid. But again, him being mid isn't a bad thing. He does have a very good passive. His passive, Awakened Power, you guys already know. Everyone like just went over his passive. So basically, if you have 2 or more of these debuffs on the enemies, they can't cleanse it, right? So they basically cannot cleanse it using recovery skills. But if they have 3 or more of those debuffs, they have their ult gauge depleted by 1 orb at the start of your turn. So very, very good passive, very good skill kit as well. You know, this releases, you know, basically DLT damage 80%, 100%, and 130%. If you don't know what that is, it's basically, let's say you use bleed, additional damage equal to 90% of damage dealt at the end of every turn. Release will release 80% of that. So that's really, really good. So keep that in mind as well. It'll release 80% of bleed on the card. So that's very, very good skill to have. He also has an AoE poison, one of the very few. I think this is number one. I can actually check right now. I think it is the only one in the game at the moment. I think so. Or like the second. Where is poison? Poison. There we go. Okay. Poison. So single target. I think is it Frozia? Freesia? I don't know. Yeah, okay, so she has poison, but she's very weak and she's an SR. So she does have an AoE poison. So I think his is the second. I actually think his is the second AoE poison. Oh, no, the third. I completely lied. Or maybe one, two. I think he has AoE poison. He has AoE poison. So it's the fourth. Okay, my bad. He has the fourth AoE poison skill, but it's very, very few units that have AoE poison. So again, very, very good unit. One of the top tier units in the game, obviously, but very, very good. And then this Abyss is very strong. If you guys don't know what it does, at 6 out of 6, you have a 450% multiplier, and then his Abyss damage inflicts additional damage equal to 60% of damage dealt on all enemies at the start of the enemy's turn. Right? Okay. So what this means is all the damage that you did, 6 out of 6, is going to go into this Abyss. That's incredible. That's actually very, very good damage. And then takes 50% less damage for 2 turns. And his defensive stats are very, very good. I just did a video going over his kit. My Vest King has 91% crit resistance, right? So literally taking 50%, and then look at his resistance, 50%. I think mine is at 66%. 50% less damage. That's very, very good, man. Very, very good. A very good unit, like I said. Very strong unit, powerful unit. And he's one of the best characters to use for global Grand Cross PvP. So all right, let's go ahead and get to the 7th unit. And the 7th unit we have is Ledio. Ledio is he's strong. He is very strong. Unfortunately, you do have to invest a little bit of time, effort, blood, sweat, tears, and money into Ledio for his CC to out CC your opponent, right? So in order to get his combat class up there, although he does have pretty good CC, right, you do still have to work hard to get it up there. Keep that in mind as well. So his passive allows him to decrease defense-related stats of enemy heroes with a lower combat class by 40% for 3 turns. That's huge. So you go first, it's game over. Literally game over. He is very, very good. Not only does his first skill have a high multiplier, it's just, this is the same as Derriere's, by the way. It's just a very strong combination when you're lowering their defense-related stats by 40%. It's just a very strong combo. And then he has rupture damage too. So Goddess Elizabeth literally has no place when he's around because he'll break through it like crazy. His pierce rate is 85% base without costumes. Craziness. And it has grace as well. Evade skills with petrify, freeze, or stun effects for 2 turns. So he cannot be incapacitated. Very good at the start of battle. And this includes uniques and commandment effects and only excludes ultimate moves, does not apply to deathmatch. So again, very, very good unit. And then his ultimate inflicts damage equal to 350% attack on all enemies and creates barrier equal to 20% of the damage. 6 out of 6, it becomes 525% and then 80% barrier. Very, very good. Just one of the best, like literally one of the best units in the game. There is no denying that. He is one of the best units in the game. Very useful in PvP and very hard to fight against once this procs, right? Once his passive procs, very hard to fight against. So again, very, very good character. Let's go ahead and move to number 6. So number 6 is Kyo Kusanagi, very good. Although he has moved down a little bit, he's still top tier and one of the best units to use on global Grand Cross PvP, right? His passive, you guys already know what it does. Applies 2 ignites at the start of every turn, of your turn at least, right? And then once the ignites are applied, he reduces damage dealt to allies by 5% for each ignite effect on an enemy. Very good. Very, very good. His first card is Cold Destruction, which combos into his passive as well. If, you know, because you're literally getting 2 ignites off rip, which is very, very helpful when a Cold Destruction card is played, because this increases damage per debuff on the target, which is powerful. And then he also has an AoE Blaze, which is another thing that combos into his passive, because this does plus 25% damage dealt per ignite effect on target. They made him very, very strong. They just went, I guess, crazy on him because he is a fire unit, right? Literally a fire unit. So I guess they just said, why not just give him something that goes into his passive, have both his cards play on the passive with ignites, and just make him strong. And that's exactly what they did. And then his ultimate inflicts damage equal to 490%, 725%, that's 6 out of 6. And then applies 2 ignite effects for 3 turns on all enemies. So although this is single hitting target, right, it does apply ignite effects to all enemies. So that's very, very good, man. That's very, very good. Again, he isn't really played as much as he was when he first came out, but he is still very, very good. When you fight against a Kyo, you're basically like, you're not obliged to attack him and try and take him out, but it would be helpful because remember, you are getting your damage reduced per ignite, so do keep that in mind. And he also is doing more damage with ignites, so your best bet is to probably take him out. But on a good team composition, this man's is just too good. Like, he's just too good. But yeah, Kyo is definitely deserving of his spot in number 6. So let's go ahead and let's get into number 5. So number 5, Droll of Patience. Now, Droll is absolutely good. Green Droll, right? Green Droll is absolutely amazing. A phenomenal unit. Although he may not have some crazy gimmicks like the other units we went over, he does have good skills, right? And one of his most notable things is his passive. Applies an ultimate move disable effect for 2 turns every time an enemy alt move gauge reaches 5 orbs. So that's very, very good. So basically they're stuck at the 5 orb mark, and this plays on his skill 1 because it has detonate damage, and you guys know detonate is powerful when the enemies have full alt gauge, because 20% additional damage per orb in the target's ultimate move gauge. That's kind of insane, right? So you're pretty much getting, what is it, 100% extra damage when they're at max alt gauge, which is crazy because technically this becomes 500% when they have max alt gauge. It literally becomes 500%. So honestly, it's like technically it is the second most strongest skill percentage wise in the game. I think 600 is the max. I don't know what comes after that, but having it at 500 is very, very good. So yes, that's absolutely amazing. And then this cucks Elizabeth and Gothers too, right? So inflicts damage equals to 120% on all enemies on rank 1, and then he disables buff and debuff skills for 1 turn on rank 2, and then for 2 turns on rank 3. Damage wise, not the craziest, but hey, it is a very, very good. His regeneration is high too, already at 60% without cosmetics and Super Awakening, and then with Super Awakening he gets more regeneration, I believe. Oh, no, never mind. No, he doesn't. Okay, he doesn't get regeneration. Oh, yes, he does. 10%. Okay, he gets more regeneration of 10%, which gives him 70 off rip. So, very, very good character. He is one of the many, well, not many, but one of the few characters that can cuck Elizabeth, like, just by, using his skill. So, very, very good. Inflicts charge damage equal to 455% of attack on all enemies, which is great because charge ignores defense. So, they have literally 0 defense when he uses that. And his commandment is good for certain things, but it's not good all the time, right? especially when you're going up against a Ledio, this pretty much screws you over big time, right? Applies a buff that increases resistance by 30% for 3 turns, so basically 90% because it stacks every time an ally or enemy receives damage from skills in PvP. Again, double-edged sword when you're going against a unit who uses Rupture, Ledio, right? But it can be helpful when you're trying to tank damage, especially Blue Droll. That's one advantage Blue Droll does have over the green one, his taunt. And then he reduces, you know, obviously he can reduce damage with this passive by increasing his resistance. So technically he is reducing damage, just not reducing damage, I guess. And yeah, but Green Droll is very, very good. One of the top units in PvP, number 5 for me personally. So there you go. Green Droll, top tier. All right, let's get to number 4. So number 4 is Red Zell. I don't even think I have to explain why he's top tier. He has an alt drain skill 1. He can disable recovery skills, making everyone who has recovery skills pretty much, you know, useless when it comes to recovering. And then his passive increases allies' basic stats by 6% for each ally or enemy with the commandment. Top tier passive right there in itself. Literally just by existing with other commandments, he increases basic stats of all allies by 6%. And it also applies for enemies as well. So that's crazy, man. That's actually really, really crazy. You know, when he first arrived on JP Grand Cross, I didn't think this was the craziest. But then I saw people use him and I was like, okay, this is actually insane because he is increasing his basic stats and his basic stats are already pretty good. Like 5,538 without cosmetics. That's very good. And then he's just increasing the basic stats, 56k. Like, that's impressive, man. I gotta admit, that's pretty impressive. And then his commandment, obviously you guys already know, you just move a card. You remove debuffs off of yourself or anyone who removes cards, but at the same time you're losing an alt gauge, right? Alt gauge orb. So double-edged sword right there. His ultimate inflicts spike damage equal to 560% of attack on one enemy, which can come in clutch, but it also can not come in clutch. And then it's 840% at 6 out of 6 and 56% multiplier. So very good unit right there, top tier, number 4 for me. And I don't think I have to say who's even like the top 3 units. You guys can pretty much already guess who the top 3 units are at this point, and that would be Elizabeth at number 3, Meliodas at number 2, and then Green Gother at number 1. This actually was pretty difficult to put him up here, but I gotta say, I think he honestly might just be the best unit in Global Grand Cross at the moment. I think he is, man. I think he's gonna be the best until the one Escanor comes out. You already know why Elizabeth is here. I think I'm gonna put her at. It was hard though to put him above her because of her shield, but he can just eat through it like butter with his skill too. That's why I put him up there. But she's toxic. I don't even have to really go over her. Her barrier's like ridiculous. She can stun. She revives. Like, why would they give her this? She literally puts up a reflection that heals 30% of max HP, then heals for half of the damage reflected. It's insane. Like, it's actually insanity how like toxic they made her. Lost Vein, same thing. You guys already know, increases the ranks of all the hero skills. When he takes a critical hit, he's gonna take a critical hit because you know why? His crit resistance sucks donkey balls. And then it's what, 2% there. I think you can get it up to like 16% or even a little higher, but yeah, he's still going to take crits, you know what I mean? So, I mean, yeah, he's number 2. But Green Gother, I think he is, Gother, right? I think he is number 1 because he just really does have a good kit when you look at him, right? He's good for multiple areas, not only just PvP. You can use him for story mode. You can use him for final bosses. You can use him for the Grey Demon, which automatically, in my opinion, gives him a big advantage, right? And then he increases allies related stats by 7%. So basically, you can stack this 5 times, 35% to all attack related stats, as long as you have 3 different races on the field. Very, very good. This debuff is very annoying. I do find it annoying. The Red Gother, though, I did want to put him up here. I actually was going to put him up here in place of Merlin, but no one really runs him anymore. But if I had to put him up here, he might be neck and neck with the green one, man. He might be neck and neck with him instead of him being here with Merlin. He might just be here. So if you want, you could just pretend like it's slash red Gother. So there you go. But this is annoying to get around, especially if you don't have Zeldris or someone to remove it, because it does cuck you big time. And then his rank, you guys already know, his rank up is powerful. And then his ultimate, same thing as the red Gother. Literally the same unit, just a different skill 1 and different passive. But the passive is what makes him better than the red Gother, right? So, yeah, he's just overall better than the red one because of this passive skill right there. But yeah, that's pretty much it for this video. I think the placements of each unit was a little, I mean, you could move some of them, I guess, right? I mean, I guess you could maybe put Keo above Droll, but I mean, it's up to you, right? It's just a personal opinion. You could probably even move Ledio, maybe past Droll, but the problem is no one really summoned for him, so you don't see him a lot. But very, very good. I mean, if you wanted to put him past Droll, maybe Zeldris, because he is blue, has an advantage. You could put him in 4th slot. It's completely up to you, you guys, right? But this is where they stand for me. But yeah, hopefully you guys did enjoy this video. I hope it was somewhat fun and entertaining. I hope it was informational as well. If you were wondering who to rank up, level up, here you go. These are the top 10 units you definitely should use for PvP at the moment. At the time of this recording, it might change next week. It could change in 2 weeks. We don't know. But yeah, for now, these are the top 10 units to use in Global Grand Cross PvP. So with that said and out of the way, I'm going to actually wrap up the video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. If you did enjoy, consider leaving a like, comment, and subscribe. We're so close to 2K subscribers. I can taste it. We're like at 1982 at the time of this recording. So yeah, hopefully that goes up. Hopefully we can reach 2K by, I don't know, maybe tomorrow possibly. But it remains to be seen. Hopefully you guys did enjoy the video. With that said, I will see you all next time.